Hello and welcome back to our study of Peninei Halacha, the teachings of Rabbi Eliezer Melamed Shlita. Here we find ourselves, Sof Shemoeh Erev Shabbos Kodesh, Parshas Vayeshev, story of Yosef and his brothers, as we will take this through the end of Sefer Bereshis with the saga of Yosef and his brothers. Also, getting prepared for Chanukah. So the next time that we meet after this, it will, Mir Hashem, already be Chanukah. Wish everybody Chanukah Sameach. Please continue davening for Chalei Tzvah Yisrael, Fu Shalom Echol Petzvei Yisrael, return of Ron Gavili, L'Kvuras Yisrael, Eli Nishmat, Seren Daniel Shimon Arav During Shalom Shank Medemo. So we actually begin a new chapter, as we had a brief chapter over the course of this week. And the new chapter is called Hazkaras Geshem Vakashasam. So as we were mentioning seasonal editions, of course, we very specifically have to talk about the insertion of prayers for rain. And of course, as we saw, Baruch Hashem in Israel, sometimes in a dangerous situation, but getting rain in Israel is always a bracha, and we continually daven for Gishmei bracha in Eretz Yisrael. But let's begin this chapter, Hazkaras Geshem She'elosam. B'tikufas hachoref, onu maskirim hageshem pa'amayim b'tefillah. In the winter season, we mention and request rain 2 times during davening. In the beginning, we mentioned, we say Mashiv Ruach Mored HaGeshem, to give praise to Hashem, who brings the rain down. And then later on, as we say V'sein Tal Matar, we request from Hashem that He should bless us with Tal and Matar. B'bracha Hashaniya, in the second bracha of Shemoeh Esreh, which is the bracha of Mechaya Mesim, of reviving the dead, there anu mishabchem Mashiv Ruach Mored HaGeshem. That's when we recite Mashiv Ruach. V'tiknu lahaskir shevach HaGeshem berachas Mechaya Mesim. If you ever wondered why is it that the blessing for the praise for rain is in the bracha of reviving the dead, because rain brings life to the world. So if we're talking about reviving and bringing back life, rain brings life to the world. The bracha Shi'is, in the 9th bracha, Hu brachas Hashanim, the seasonal blessing, Anu mevakshim al hageshem. There we request rain. Leminik Sephardim, kol nusach brachas Hashanim mishtaneh me'achoref l'kayetz. According to the minig and Sephard, the entirety of the nusach of this brachas Hashanim is different in the winter and in the summer. B'choref poschem barech aleinu, v'kayetz poschem barcheinu Hashem Elokeinu. In the winter we say barech aleinu, bless us, bless upon us, and in the summer, they open the bracha by saying, just bless us, Hashem, our God. However, from us Ashkenazim, it is the same. As we know, that there's a difference, as we say, we just here in Chutz La'aretz began saying V'sein Talamater only a few days ago, and in the summer we say V'sein Bracha. And even though that the mentioning of rain and request for rain is in the winter, there still is a difference. Mentioning Geshamim, which is Mashiv HaRuach, is recited in the time that is fit for rain. But the prayer, when we request rain, is only when we actually want it to come. Tkilas man hazkaras hageshem b'shmini atzeres. The time of mentioning Geshem, we say Tfilas Geshem is on Shmini Atzeres at the end of Sukkot. And even though we probably should have requested rain from the beginning of the Yontiv of Sukkot, because that's the time of rain, but we don't want to ask for rain or mention rain on Sukkot because it's a bad sign, because people have to sit in their Sukkot. If it's raining, then people cannot fulfill the mitzvah of sitting in the Sukkah. Therefore, we don't mention it on Sukkot. So therefore, it was established that we say Tfilas Geshem at Musaf on Shmini Atzeres, which is after Sukkot, and no longer sitting in the Sukkah. As the entire congregation is found in the shul. Then we can have a public announcement, as they say, that the Gabbai announces, or an officer of the synagogue announces, to start saying Mashiv HaRuach. However, Marav, not everybody comes. See, even in the time of the Gemara, they understood that not everybody came to Marav. People came to Shachris, or Musaf. And you can't mention before Shachris either, because as we have discussed 100 episodes ago, you cannot make an interruption between Goal Yisrael and the Shemoeh Esreh, so you couldn't stop and announce. Everybody has to remember to say Mashiv Ruach. So therefore, it was instituted to begin at Musaf. Aval, as Tchilas HaBakasha L'Geshem Doch B'Chamisha Asar Yom. But the beginning of the request for rain was pushed 15 days. Leil Shvi B'Chodesh Mar Cheshvan. So we're talking about in Eretz Yisrael. In Israel, it was pushed off to the 7th day of Mar Cheshvan. V'zos kadei she'achron ole haregal sheba min har paras yaspik lachzor lebeisor below she'erid alav geshem b'darko. Again, because if we're requesting rain or mentioning rain, yes, we don't want it on Sukkot, but also all the people that came for Aliyah L'Regel, again, in the time of the Beis HaMikdash, they trekked from as far as the Euphrates River. We want to make sure they have enough time to get back without getting rained upon. Again, even after the destruction of the Beis HaMikdash, this custom remained. Because any minhag, any custom that makes reference and reminds us of the great days of the Beis HaMikdash, we keep them as they were. And they're very dear to us, and we do not want to cancel them. And only after we, Mir Hashem, we build the Beis HaMikdash soon in our times, then Sanhedrin can make a decision when the Sanhedrin convenes whether or not we will change the date for starting to mention and request rain, because we have to look at the new situation, seasons, locations, etc., all of those factors. Mamshichim lahazkir geshem ad yom rishon shel Chag HaPesach, and we start mentioning this. We say Mashiv Ruach and then also v'sein Talamater until first day of Pesach. B'shachris hadayim maskirin geshem, and we still say it in Shachris on the first day of Pesach. Uvemusach for maskirin es hatal, and then at Musaf we say Tefillas Tal, and we start mentioning Tal. Lagabe bakashos geshomim makivin shabakasha nemers rak b'mosachol. As far as the Saint Talamater, since this is only said on a weekday, so the last time it comes out that we say it in the season is Mincha right before Pesach, on Erev Pesach, again, because it's not mentioned on Yom Tov. So this is the story of Mashiv Ruach and Saint Talamater. I know a lot of you are going to ask, what about those of us in the diaspora? We don't follow 7. We, for some reason, we use the Gregorian calendar, the 4th of December, the 5th of December. Hang tight. That's a big cliffhanger. That's coming up. We're going to see that coming up. We're also going to see the questions, obviously, what happens if one forgets or didn't mention it. All those great, juicy items. But until then, wishing everybody a peaceful and restful Shabbos. Please continue davening for Chal Yitzchak and Yisrael, for Israel, return of Ron Gavili's body, the Perez Yisrael, Nishmat Thank you so much for spending the week with us. Again, Shabbat Shalom Barach. We'll see you here next week.